Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Good. Welcome
No, it's
back.
been a long. It's been a long week, but it's
Yeah.
been also been like a very busy weekend. My
Okay.
cousin, she came to visit this weekend from.
Okay.
She left Jersey, but we're two Jamaicans in our place, so we had been having so much fun and eating lots of good food. So,
Well, just to let everyone know, Shauna is gonna be, coming on up maybe about 10 minutes. In about 10 minutes. Today is the kind of final wrap up. Usually we try to do a meet the author, but of course we can't. So, but we have
we can't meet the author because he is no longer
no
on this.
longer on this physical plane, but we have something just as good. We can meet the author's family, and so we're gonna meet Anthony Winkler's son, Adam, and his wife Kathy. Let me bring them on.
My mom, not my wife.
Huh? Oh,
My
not
mom, not my wife.
Adam Winkler's son and Adam Winkler's wife.
No, sir.
Sorry, Anthony Winkler's wife. Oh my God. All right, you know what I mean. All right.
Start
So,
again. Start again.
all
Start
right.
again.
Anthony Winkler's son and Anthony Winkler's wife.
Wife.
Stop.
Adam and Kathy. Good. I finally got it. All right.
Ooh, Lord Jesus.
That I deserve some tea for that. Thank
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Take a drink.
To the true Duppy.
Welcome,
you.
Adam.
Duppy box.
Right. He coming for you tonight. He gonna tap you right on the shoulder. And
I know. There's a comment already. How did you? Hey, or a fellow writer, Adrian Bonner. She's
lovely.
checking in. Hey, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yes.
And before we dive into this delicious conversation I'm excited about us participating in, we wanted to acknowledge what all of us are dealing with in the Jamaican diaspora in the aftermath of Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us have families. Fortunately, my family is doing okay. So many other families are not. And whether your family is okay or not, Jamaica, our homeland, is
Right. Yeah.
going to have a long road to rebuilding. And so we wanted to acknowledge that and also to pop onto the screen a resource. There's a link tree
Right.
that has a lot of information that people can tap into if they want to donate and support throughout the diaspora. And it was really amazing because we were having a conversation with Adam and Kathy about this. And they also reminded us about Anthony Winkler in Atlanta. Could you speak a bit more about what he would do? Sort of,
Helping with Hurricane Gilbert. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, well, he was the president of the Atlanta Jamaican Association at the time. I was very young then, and I remember that he just led some big fundraising efforts on the behalf of the Jamaican community in Atlanta, and was able to generate quite a bit of support and help, assistance for the island.
Yeah. And
So in terms of the links that are there, there, luckily a lot of my family are fine as well, and most of my friends. But one of my friends who lives in Treasure Beach kind of lost everything. Actually, he has a course on Reggae Online, a gourd banjo making course. Jeff Lindsay, so he kind of lost everything there, and he was hit hard by Beryl a year or so ago as
Right.
double. So when you go on the link tree, there's like a carousel with links. There's the official government donation thing. There's American Friends of Jamaica link. There's also something for Lo Shusan. It's a thing that that Tammy Chin, the Mitchells, they're doing with Lo Shusan, where you can go on and you can buy a package. They'll collect the packages that have been bought and distribute them. And then there's a link for Jeff and a couple other people as well. So you can give where you feel led to or how you feel led to. But I think anything that you do will be appreciated.
I was sad that Treasure Beach got hit again after just getting it back from a barrel. Tony and I spent time there at Jake's for the Calabash Festival. For every 5 years, they invited Tony back, and so he was there twice, and it was just really a great experience.
Yeah, it's a special place. Yeah, it's unique. But yeah. Wonderful. So again, thank you both for being here. We want to dive in. I know I sent some questions. I really kind of wanted to just be organic, and you can share stories. Adam was saying he has stories for days, which is great. So So tell us a bit about being growing up with Anthony Winkler, especially like was it a different thing when he was in writing mode and versus when he wasn't, or was it always kind of just even keel? Let's start with that.
You want to go first? Or you want to go?
But when I first met Tony, he told me he was a writer. I thought we'd be sleeping with a pen and notepad next to the bed, and he'd be waking up and writing things down. And there was none of that. He'd go weeks without doing anything. Because when I first met him, we were 30 days on the road in a little Volkswagen van type of thing on our way to Jamaica from LA. But he was very disciplined. He would go down, he worked at home, he had his own office, and he was there like 9 to 5. He'd break for lunch, and then he'd exercise. He drove the kids to school in the morning, and because I insisted that they take the bus, and that wasn't happening. Tony drove them every morning, so he was very disciplined. But when he decided, but he was also writing textbooks at the time, so he kind of had to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of textbooks did he write?
Oh, he wrote
Rhetoric.
Okay.
Yeah, rhetoric readings for writers. They had one that was it's in the 15th edition for 40 years.
He's like
Wow.
17 now.
He had like 17 textbooks, but maybe 2 or 3 of them were big. I mean, that's what paid for the roof over our heads.
Gotcha.
I think he used to say it was like the bread and butter was the textbooks and the icing was the novels when he had an opportunity.
Okay.
That's what he loved to do. He hated writing the textbooks.
I can imagine. Yeah. Oh, well, Shauna's here. Hey,
Excellent.
Shauna, you're muted. And so
I have a quick question. Where did you and I want to say Tony, but I can't say Tony. But
Tony, say Tony.
Yeah, you go with Tony.
Mr. Winkler, Mas Winkler. Where did you meet?
It's a story.
Give him the clip note. Give him the clip
I was on
notes.
vacation in Jamaica for the second time, and I ended up going to a restaurant with my girlfriend called A Refuge in Montego Bay. We had been staying at Carlisle Beach, and the manager there, called up his friend, said, "I've got these girls, you're going to love them, blah, blah, blah." So he met us, and Peter Honeyball was the owner's name, and he talked with a hole in his throat. He talked like this, and as we were having dinner, the waiter kept coming over and saying, "The Winklers want to see you. The Winklers want to see you." He said, "Go away, quit bothering me. Tell them I'm with travel agents. I don't know any Winklers." And about the 4th time, then finally, he said, "Okay, just a minute. I've just got to go take care of this." And he goes and he comes back and he goes, "Oh, we've got to join this table. These are old friends of mine, blah, blah, blah." So it turns out that when Tony was a teenager, under like maybe 13, 14, well, his father thought his mother was doing something with Peter Honeyball, and he sent Tony on his bicycle to pick up Peter and bring him home. So he did. So Tony went and picked him up, and they rode on the bike to the house, and Peter and his father started drinking, and they went from rum bar to rum bar. And finally, in a drunken stupor, the story goes, he wrapped his arms around the wheel and hit a telephone pole saying,
Intentionally
saying, "If I can't have her, you
Wow.
can't either," or something like that. Tony, they both
This
had,
is the guy who introduced my parents.
wait, they both had extreme unction. Tony's father broke his back, supposedly, and Peter Honeyball had a tracheotomy. And Tony calls me Peter Honeyball's revenge.
Oh my God.
So that's how we met.
Wow.
I didn't expect that story.
Yeah.
And then in 1 week, she moved back, sold everything she had, and on this big leap of faith, moved to Jamaica for how long?
Not 1 week. It was
Not long.
Yeah, it was a period of, I knew him for 8 days over a period of 3 months on very expensive long distance phone bills.
True love.
Yeah, and I just threw caution to the wind, and nobody wanted me to do it. My father, of all people, said, "You can always come back, try it."
Wow.
We were married for 40 years. Tony passed away 3 months before our 40th
Oh
anniversary.
my God. That's amazing.
That story is told in detail from his words and going home to teach.
Okay. Nice.
I have a follow-up question. Well, not a follow-up question. A follow-up question to Michael's question. What are some parallels? Because I was really curious about this between Mr. Winkler's real life in the world of Jamaica in the Duppy. Like,
What is the what?
His real life. Well, I think that it's funny because so I teach English, and we used to talk about. I started teaching AP literature and really getting into like point of view and things, and we would talk about it. He was playing with point of view because there's never, to his knowledge, been a book been written from the point of view of a dead person.
Right.
He even had another one that he wrote, a full screenplay. It was called OBE, and it stands for Out of Body Experience. And it was about to make, because he said that one time he had this, and he saw his life from like an out of body experience. And he wrote the whole thing, and it was going to be produced. And then The Sixth Sense came out, and it was basically like they beat him to the punch.
Yeah.
But the idea was there. But I think with the Duppy, he's just playing with social commentary and really, you know, he lived in the United States, but he was Jamaican through and through. Like our joke is, you asked about his writing process earlier.
Yeah.
His commute was walk down the stairs and make a left. Like he didn't really leave the house very often. And when he did, he would do it at the most inopportune times. It was always a joke. Like he'd wait till rush hour to go do things. What are you doing?
In Atlanta.
Exactly.
So you saying he's like self-torture?
Yes.
You know, when you're a full-time writer, I think that's part of the
The thrill. Part of the thrill.
part of the stick.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, so awesome.
Let's talk about his what do you call him, a slacker? You know, his dirty mouth, his potty mouth, the jokes, the
Dirty
things.
mind.
Dirty
Yes.
mind.
Dirty mind.
Well, I just used that term because I remember I was watching the video. I wasn't there, but at Calabash, he read the story called Grease Leg.
Right,
is
I
about-
remember that. I was there.
Grease Leg. It's about like a prostitute who's tricking young people to not give up the goods and, you know, and see the boys off. And so he read that one. And then the guy was like, the white man is the slackest among us here. But so when I say slack, I just meant like he had a perverse sense of humor, like the best way. But it wasn't like out of order.
Right. Yeah. A little
like-
body, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. It was just body. It was just body humor. Like at his funeral, like 3 women said, whenever Tony told me I was looking good, I knew I had to lose 20 pounds. So,
I still know people like that. Yeah. And they have no filter, but it's great.
Yeah.
Kathy, how did you manage that slackness in his writing?
Oh, I was so attracted to it. You know, he was so funny. I mean, I remember when I came home from Jamaica, I'm walking in my mother's backyard, and she said, "How was your trip?" I go, "Mom, I met the man I'm going to marry." She goes, "Oh, you can't say that." I go, "No, I'm going to. I promise you. We are meant for each other."
Oh, wow.
He just says it.
he would hold court, you know. He was a extraordinary conversationalist.
Mm.
Even my friends, sometimes when Mom would be out of town, they would come there and he would just tell a story after. He was a storyteller, you know.
Yeah, veranda talk. He had it, but too. Him, his mother, his family. They were great storytellers. Tony was excellent. Yeah.
Wow.
I can definitely see that. I don't know if you guys had reached that this question or this thought process. We would often say sometimes in our reflections on the chapters, we would say he would definitely be canceled today.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, we said that just because I think it's to understand the Jamaican point of view, point of view during that time of somebody of his age, and just how we would find it funny and brilliant and so on. But I kind of think about just how the sensitivity sometimes of how the world and the world of literature and social media and all of that has changed. How he would definitely, because people just honestly don't get, as you said, that irreverent kind of humor that it laid hard. And I wonder if at any time during his writing, or he would come home and people say, probably say to you guys or tell stories of just how, somebody completely took him the wrong way, and how he may have, did he have a reaction to people probably thinking he was too perverse or slack or anything, or was he kind of just like a good-hearted, just kind of go, don't pay them no mind?
he'd just be happy that people were reading his work.
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, because he didn't have like the greatest audience when he was alive. He doesn't. I still think his audience is yet to really
Wow.
pick up his work, because I
Mhm.
think he's a really, really good writer. The way he wrote dialogue and everything. But yeah, he wouldn't care. I don't think that to be an artist. I think to be great is to be misunderstood.
To be fair, I mean, a lot of Jamaicans would be cancelled anyway. I mean, Jamaicans aren't typically concerned about being, you know, what do you call it?
Politically correct.
Politically
Politically
correct.
correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, they're just we're just being who we are, and we don't really care.
Yeah.
And that came through in that book. You know, it's like
Exactly.
with that character
Yeah.
that he had, it was just being who he was. You know, and he didn't care.
And I wonder how much of that question is based off like him presenting as like a Syrian Jamaican, a white Jamaican author. If that same question would come through if he was like you know, a high yellow or black Jamaican or a brown Jamaican. Or,
And I mean, we spoke about that.
I remember, yeah. I watched
It-
all the shows.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yeah,
But, you know, until there were pictures,
Go ahead.
Mm.
until there were pictures on the back of the book, people did not know Tony was white.
Right.
But Tony was speaking at the Decatur Book Festival, which is a big deal here in Atlanta, happens every year. Akashic Press from New York had showcase for him. And Tony and I were standing. He had just had a reading, and this is really sad. We walked into a room full of people. A woman was reading, and when she was finished, everybody left. There were like 3 people left for Tony, and there's a woman there from the Atlanta Writers Club going, "Don't leave, don't leave. This is the best writer that around. You're not going to believe him." They all left because she was a teacher and she was giving everybody extra credit. There ended up being 3 people waiting for him to read in this what was a classroom. But anyway, so we're out of that. We're standing in front of this Bible sales book thing, and everyone behind us is black. And I see this, and the writers, the authors all had, you know, identification around their necks, kind of thing, you know. And I see a possible Jamaican couple coming by, and they had the lunatic in their arms. And I said, "Oh, would you like to read? Not read. Would you like to meet the author of the book?" And they go, "Oh yeah." And they're looking behind Tony, and they're looking at all the. And I take his ID and I go, "Here, see him here." And the woman was so excited. She goes, "I need a picture to show my mother. She's not going to believe it."
I remember being a kid and going to Barnes and Nobles and like looking for his work, and it would be like in the African American literature section. I'd be like,
That's right. That's right.
Well, at least we know it's about the work and not about the work.
Right.
right.
In that sense.
But even that's so uniquely Jamaican in the fact that, of course, worldwide you still see it online. You know, you might see somebody who is not of the same assumed race they think most Jamaicans are, and they see they're like, "I hear my people, but I don't see my people."
Right.
But that's kind of one of the experiences that are is completely Jamaican. So, you know, we see that we're like, of course he's Jamaican, sounds Jamaican, it looks Jamaican. But if you haven't had that great experience of being in Jamaica, you don't get it. You honestly don't get it, and I think it's a farce, you know. So yeah. Antonio, I think I stepped on your comment.
No, it's okay. Actually, I had 2 questions, but and I think for the audience that's listening who may not be Jamaican, maybe from like another Caribbean island or not Jamaican at all, but or Caribbean at all, but this idea of like Syrian Jamaicans, right? Can you talk a bit about that cultural heritage? What you know?
Yeah. So his mother was Lebanese. You know, they just say Syrian in Jamaica, but they're actually Lebanese. And to me, that's a big part of his identity because he rejected the British colonial rule. He's got this. So he kind of, I think in Jamaica at the time there was the British colonial empire, and then there was everyone else, right? And so like he would reject. I remember one time, like when he got expelled from school, there was a new headmaster. And it was a white guy, and Dad thought that he identified as a Black Jamaican as you know, bizarre as it sounds. And so he saw this British guy, and he asked him like what time it was, and I think he was like, "Go back to your country" or something. And then he goes to school the next day, and that guy's the new headmaster. And so he has him caned, and then that interaction is what led him to be expelled from Cornwall College. Really.
Wow.
So I think that he writes about it a lot in Going Home to Teach, which is a phenomenal autobiography. But yeah, he didn't really. He actually rejected a lot of that side of his family because they were drinking and smoking, and they were running horses and things like that. But he identified as a Jamaican.
No, but I don't think he rejected that part of his family. He just
not rejected, but he knew, it's like you might not get what you want, but you can make sure you don't get what you don't want. And so he kind of saw what he didn't want.
Right.
Yeah, I've been learning a part about that part of my family's heritage. My aunt, my eldest aunt, my father's older sister, her husband was Syrian Jamaican, right? And they were in St. Anne. So it was, to understand and begin to learn about that part of our family was very interesting for me. I didn't know before. Another question I had was about, I'm curious about his relationship, his philosophies around sort of religion and spirituality, if he had any. But it's like the book is it's rich in these conversations, and I'm just like, wow, where was he sitting in himself? Was he creating something that was brand new for himself and his just kind of ruminations, or what?
he was a Catholic, a cradle Catholic, altar boy, and we raised our children, in the faith and had them baptized. They never went to Catholic school or anything, but until they were old enough to make their own decisions, they were Catholics. And then we kind of faded away from it. But he wrote The Duppy, and then he was writing The True Duppy when he started, dementia was kind of kicking in. And I remember when he was dying the last few days, when they said to him, "Oh, honey, you're gonna finally meet God and find out what He really is." And he said, and he wasn't even talking at the time. No, he didn't say that. He said, "I know my God," and that was it. That was one of the few things he said.
Nice.
I always remember that.
Yeah, he was very spiritual. He was righteous. Like, he knew the right and wrong. Like, when Michael sent me that thing, one of the stories that I had, he was my soccer coach growing up. And then, he was friends with everybody. Unlike the United States, we always had a very diverse group of people in our household. And one of his assistant coaches was this Jewish guy, and we always used to do the YMCA. And then one time we ended up doing it at this
Baptist church.
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, a different. Now you set me up. But anyhow, they found out that his assistant coach was Jewish, and they told him that he couldn't coach the kids with that assistant coach, and we walked.
What?
So he said, "You mean if Jesus Christ came here to coach our children, you wouldn't let him play?"
Right. Yeah.
That's what he told them, and then that was it.
So that's just one of many examples of the righteousness. It's just he was always he had a strong moral compass, and right is right and wrong is wrong. And so he would always just, I think once we got out of grammar school, the church attendance was on you.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing that I wrote about it a million times. I actually wrote a lot of it in my dissertation, but when he passed, we were all in the room holding his hand, and it was the craziest thing, because I don't know if you've ever witnessed anyone pass, but it's pretty brutal. You never know which breath's going to be the last one. Well, it was very, very close, and so Mom starts saying the Our Father, and I think on the fourth time, and I'm getting frustrated because after two, it's like, how many times are we going to say the Lord's Prayer?
He doesn't know the rosary.
And so on the fourth one, he raises his hands like this, and the man's been on his deathbed for I don't think he had food and water for 12 days. He was holding on for some reason, and he held his hands up like this, and then took his last breath and just passed. And it was just so the church thing, the spiritual thing, it lets me know from the other side at the very end that it's how you walk your walk. It's not how many times you walked into the church, but he was very spiritual.
Yeah, he was so
Spiritual,
weak.
not
To see him
religious.
do that was absolutely incredible. Becky was on one side holding his hand, Adam was on the other.
All of us.
Yeah, I know we were all, yeah, there was a small group of us for sure.
Yeah.
And then he had to crawl through the culvert.
You thought
No, and after he died, that's right. Well, the Duppy brings it out there, right? Yeah.
you thought he was doing this, but he was really doing this from the woman that was throwing stones.
So, after he died, I started reading his books again, and there was one book, I don't know which one it was, but it might have been Trust the Darkness, his autobiography, but it might have been Going Home to Teach. I mean, yeah. And he talked about his grandfather on his deathbed raising his hands to his mother's, the way Tony, wrote about it, that, he saw his mother and so Tony would do that. I thought, it was just amazing.
And it's funny because there's a lot of literature about ghosts, and he always told the story that he was one of 8, and then like when his father passed, it was like the same day that a green branch dropped in the yard, and that night he died of a heart attack, and the next day he said that he was in his room in the chair as a white figure, like a ghost, like a apparition, and he said, "Take care of your mother." So like he's reported that he has seen a ghost before.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit more to that story is that all 8 kids were in bed with mom. They were so afraid. And after a night of like arms and limbs and everything, and Tony finally decided he's going to his own bed. And he went to his own bed, and all of a sudden he saw his father sitting on the edge of the bed, and he thought his dad was smoking. And he said, "Take care of your mother." And then when he disappeared, there was this blue Oz is what, or Odd, O-D. Tony had a relative that had was a founding member of a church in Colorado that explained that blue smoke. They were very spiritual, as like a ghostly apparition. This is what happens after the spirit leaves the room. And Tony went through it.
Wow.
And that part when Adam mentioned that he had that OBE, out of body experience, he explained he was at a girlfriend's house meeting the parents for the first time, and he was sitting on the couch, and the father and they were sitting, the girlfriend and the other 2, and all of a sudden Tony just rose from his body and thought, "Oh, going on." That was his out of body experience. He remembers it, of course.
Green branch thing for real.
Carl is saying the ramp with the green branch thing.
Greetings, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Right?
Yeah.
He's been in here.
Yeah.
It's just so awesome.
When did you all leave Jamaica? And was Atlanta?
Okay, so we left. We were there almost a year. We got there in 75, and we left in 76. The deal was Tony was helping some of the girls. He was teaching at Monique. We were in Monique Teachers College. We had our own place, kind of, I was full of, anyway. He was teaching these 3 girls on the side. He bought them books and everything so they could get their
A-levels.
And he went to the principal beforehand and said, "Listen, if there is a problem on the day that these kids have their A-level tests, will you grant them, give them grace so they can take the test at the college another day?" And it was agreed, yes. Well, guess what happened?
Of course.
It didn't happen that way. And the guy would not let them take their tests any other day. So the girls never got to take their tests that Tony prepared for them because they needed that teacher's certificate to begin with, right? And so
So like he quit the church soccer team, he packed up and left.
And so I was dying to leave too. I was ready to go, and I was after him, and he just like that I could have kissed that principal. Wow, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I was psychosomatically ill. I just couldn't make friends. I know I was a minority, and it was different for me for sure.
Right. Okay.
Although I was working at Tower L at the time, I was the general manager secretary, and I drive down Fern Gully every day, go to Aracabessa kind of to get to work. And if I'd be late, I'd say, "Oh, another tree fell in Fern Gully. Sorry, I'm late. Just couldn't make it."
And they came in when everyone was leaving, when there was the fear that the country was going to turn socialist. So it's like he went there on a big, like, he didn't care. He was, like the book says, he was going home to teach.
Right.
Yeah, all his relatives were.
Everyone was like, "I can't believe you're coming. We're all leaving." Like,
yeah.
Leaving.
And if you're leaving, do you have any U.S. dollars for us? Because we needed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I kind of have a recollection of that time period. A lot of my family left. A lot of my father's side, a lot of the family left and went to New York, and and like my cousins. So it's very weird. And then when we're looking back at the stuff, the meddling with the CIA and all that stuff, that was going on at the time. It's interesting times. Yeah.
It's like 1975, 76.
1975. There was some going on that with the flour and they were saying that the flour was poisoned, that you couldn't use the flour. So at the college, like there was, they weren't cooking anything, and Tony went to the chefs in the kitchen and said, "This is new flour. How long have you had this flour?" He goes, "No, sir, we've been cooking with this flour for a long time." And he goes, "Okay, I want you to do what you do and bring them to the table." And Tony, there everybody else is, "Ooh." And Tony takes the bread. And he's like,
That's right.
"You can eat it, don't worry."
Wow.
It's pretty funny.
That's incredible.
Yeah. A lot of the stories from that time. I don't think a lot of people tell a lot of stories from that time. It's easy to forget that Jamaica went through that
period.
The political thing. We like to act like it never happened to us, but it's happened to so many people around us too, like so many countries around us, and it's probably still happening in secret. But anyway, I don't want to get too political. You know how Adam and I had a little conversation about. I'll shut up.
We're breathing. It's political.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I promise you.
What? Yes. What's your sister's name again, Adam? Kathy, what's your daughter's name?
Becky.
How do you most see Mas Winkler in Adam and your daughter?
How do I see him and them? Well, gosh, I mean, they wouldn't be here without him. I mean, they're gentle. They can speak to anybody. They can be in any type of situation. I don't care what your job is. They're warm and intelligent and can speak to anyone. And of course, he was like that. He was very, very gracious. They both are. I mean, they're helpful. They're kind. They're.
He had a massive impact on Becky.
Really?
Because he was huge on equality, and so Becky left the Catholic Church when she realized that it was oppressive towards women and became an Episcopalian. But he was always, I remember she says this a lot, like he was always like, "Don't be a nurse, be a doctor.
Yeah.
Don't be a lawyer, be the judge." Like he would always say, "Shoot for the stars." Where I think growing up in the United States, a lot of our peers' parents were definitely steering their daughters into the acceptable roles. And so he would make sure that, there's a riddle that we always talk about, just to say it, and it goes like this. A man and his son are on the way to work. They have a horrific car accident. The man dies immediately. They helivac the son to the hospital, and the surgeon comes in and says, "I can't operate on this patient. That's my son." And everyone's like, "Wait a minute. The dad died in the accident?" Because it's so incomprehensible that the mother is the surgeon.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just like that was like one of the ways that he was always like, "No, to the top, to the top."
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Very nice.
I have two doctors in the family, Dr. Winkler and Dr. Winkler. Both of my kids are.
I know. I'm an EDD. Becky, let you know she has a PhD. I have an EDD.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. Congrats.
He would be so proud, so proud.
Oh wow!
And not he would be. He is. I know he is.
Yeah.
Adam, does it having this Caribbean background as well, does that affect how you approach your teaching and your students in Georgia? Do you think there's a difference, like with your perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, 100%. Like I teach a lot of his works. So here in Atlanta in the metro, it's very diverse. But I taught in South Georgia for 11 years, and it's a
Where
phenomenal school. It's a school called Glenn Academy. It's a public school
Brunswick.
in Brunswick, Georgia.
mm-mm.
And it was actually almost more fun, like exposing those students to works of literature that they wouldn't have been a part of. But then in my early days at Chambly, you know, I taught at the same high school that I went to for the first 8 years.
Wow.
And the book room was just so vast. And so I remember reading these works together with students the first time. I mean, I can rattle off like 5 of them that I'm friends with on Instagram that like we read Beloved together. And, you know, these students are now PhD from Duke and in different places. And it was just so cool, like reading these works of literature that I think if I hadn't grown up with my dad, I'd be afraid to teach. Or like we read The Invisible Man, we read Ralph Ellison. We went through like the Black Canon because like that's the books in the house. Like we were always reading, you know, we weren't reading a lot of like you know, the traditional canon or the Western white canon.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of times I think it's interesting because I'll tell them that I'm a Jamaican, right? It's a big part of my identity too. Now it's a national identity, and they go, "Well, you don't look Jamaican." And I say, "Well, what's an American look like?" And then usually it's like that's when people start getting it and start thinking it through.
Yeah. Even I get that you don't look Jamaican sometimes, but you know,
Yeah.
move on. Yeah.
Well,
I've been
many
I
one
also
people,
get
you
that,
know.
mind
Many
you.
one people.
I've been many things.
Really?
I've you know, they've said, "No, you're Puerto Rican. No, I've gotten Turkish. I've gotten all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Hawaiian, Samoan. You know,
I can see that, Mike. I can see that.
it goes out the list. So, but yeah.
But you have the accent, you know. I can like fake it and turn it on here and there, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but with the accent too, there's like, are you Irish or what? I mean, because it's this kind of flat, you know, standard Jamaican.
Yeah.
So you know, so sometimes people will interpret it that way as well. But okay.
But it's so unique, you know. It's so different from like the Trinidadian accent and any other accent in the Caribbean.
yeah, no,
Definitely.
From you,
It's so rich.
hear it, it's immediate. You know,
Yeah.
even I would get that sometimes.
Yeah, we will pick up another Jamaican like this.
Yeah,
you know,
we will.
regardless
Easily.
of where the accent is on the spectrum. You know,
Yeah. For real.
Jamaican. Yeah.
For
No problem.
Or then when they go to, oh, you must be from Kingston. Oh, you're Kingstonian. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
yeah, right.
like what exactly are you saying?
I have a story about Tony. He lived in Montego Bay for a while. And he and his father was rough, run roughshod over him. And there were 8 kids. And of course, you know, they were living in Montego Bay. And he ran away once. And Tony's father ran out maybe a day later and said to the crowd, "Have you seen my son?" And they go, "Yes, son, he went that way." I mean, they all knew the little white boy. I mean, there was Montego Bay. There weren't very many. And so he couldn't even run away.
Wow.
So did all 7 of his siblings, did they leave as well, or did any of them stay on the island? Or
Well, Michael, the one, he came and went.
The Higgler.
He went to Miami and back. They moved. I can't tell you how many times they, unfortunately, lost all their mahogany furniture because in the moves they just decided, oh, we're going to leave it here. We're going to get new stuff. And but no, there's no one there now. Maybe a few cousins might be.
The Zadie family.
Yeah, the Zadies.
Okay. Oh, cool.
And Tony's family brought in they started the first piano store in Kingston on King Street, right next to Kincaid's.
Oh, okay.
We have a picture. Story goes that Tony's great-grandfather was playing a piano on a cruise ship and liked Jamaica so much he pulled the piano off, and that was the beginning of the family in Jamaica.
wow.
I know. That's wild. There's so many wild stories.
I know. Adam, Kathy, do you know, like, who were some of Mr. Winkler's favorite authors?
Oh God, you know. So he wrote a story in high school, and it was called Trapped, and it was about this guy who was trekking through the Yukon and was surrounded by snow and wolves. And the teacher said, Winkler, have you ever seen snow? And he was like, no. And the guy was like, you're going to be a writer. Like, I'll do that sometimes with students who have a lot of talent. I'll just try to plant that seed. Because I think that, there's power in the tongue. It's the first agreement, right? It's the power of language. And I'm like, you're going to be a writer. But he, honest to God, believed, it sounds silly, that he was Jack London reincarnated.
Yeah.
And you couldn't tell him otherwise. Like, he believed it.
Yeah. I was in San Francisco and took a picture of the Jack London. I had somebody take a picture of me and Becky with Jack London something over our heads. It's pretty funny. Jack London.
But like, another little weird thing like that was when he was writing fiction, he couldn't read fiction. Like, he would have to read nonfiction because he wouldn't let other authors' voices. He was very careful not to imitate anyone else's voice. And I think that's really important to tell the audience now when AI is kind of making us all parrot the same way. And just that his style is unique and it's just authentically him. And I still love reading his writing. It's so smooth and easy to read. It's just,
It really
He'd be
is.
reading 2 or 3 books, and he always had a dictionary next to him, always. Long before the Kindles came around, right? Where you could just like press on the word. And who were his favorite authors? They asked.
but he would say there's no such thing as writing. There's only rewriting. Like, he would painstakingly work through it again and again and again and again and again and again.
Okay.
One of his textbooks was rewriting writing. Yes.
Nice.
It was very eclectic. Like his library, it would just range from.
There was that one, To West with the Night. Who wrote that? That was one of his. He loved that book about an African a girl.
He loved Kon-Tiki. I mean,
Okay.
like, I guess, like, when he wrote The Painted Canoe, I think a lot of that was in there. He liked.
I have his books in the
He
library.
rejected a lot of the canon. Like, he didn't like Hemingway. He loved County Cullen. He loved. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can see him.
Oh, well, he was all about, who else? Samuel Johnson and Boswell. Oh my gosh. When I first met him, I started reading Boswell because that's what you do, right?
His diaries.
That didn't last long at all. Difficult.
Paul Lawrence Dunbar. He really liked Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you ever talk about why Paul Lawrence Dunbar? Or?
I think he was known for, like, his poetry was kind of the first stuff that really came out using Jamaican vernacular, like writing patois. Like, I read a lot of Jamaican authors, and I'm just kind of shocked that, like, he just nails the dialogue. To me, like, it's just everybody spells things differently, right?
Right.
You're trying to make it that way, but I feel like when I read, I'm not going to name any names, but different authors, I'm like, wow, this is kind of. And I think maybe Paul Lawrence Dunbar, because his poetry was some of the first stuff that was written in patois that people, like, began to, it joined the canon. It got acceptance. It was lauded for its merit.
I feel like that many Americans don't identify Paul Lawrence Dunbar as being a Jamaican writer. It's
fact.
An American writer. Yeah.
And his autobiography, like, it's incredible. He's got one that, like, the first 5 pages, because he came to the United States in the early 1900s. He experienced tremendous racism, and he wrote about it very, very candidly. And I just put them together because I remember, like, he used to always tell this story, like, the first time he came to the United States. I think he was on the West Coast, or might have been in Miami. And it was segregated, and he was sitting in the wrong section.
He was in a bus, and he was
no. He was in the restaurant.
I know,
but you can tell your side. But, like, okay. and he was sitting in the colored section because that's where he was comfortable. That's where and he got chastised and yelled at, and I remember him saying, I took my ball and went home. Like, he would protest and leave. He's like, I walked out of there. I wasn't going to go sit in the white section.
Right.
Yeah. He was on a bus from Miami going to California. And they stopped in Georgia for a break. And he went in the restaurant and he sat with all the people that he was with. And happened to be the colored section. He had no idea. And living in North, I didn't either. This was something in the South, right? Colored water fountains and entrances to.
This was 1962.
Things. Yeah, 62. Right. Yeah.
Wow. So just King wrote Letter from Birmingham Jail in 63. So Civil Rights Act 64, like,
Mhm.
I mean, he we were all aware. He taught that. That was a big part of our growing up is equality and, you know.
What,
He had
like,
said in LA he couldn't get an apartment when he said he was Jamaican. And then someone said to him, tell them you're of European descent.
Yeah, it's not a flattering story, but
No, I know, but well,
that's
that's the way it was, though. I mean,
yeah. So is it that he didn't know that these were sort of hard and fast rules at the time, or was it that he was like, I don't care, like
he
I'm
didn't
not
know.
to
I say
that.
both.
Well, right. And then he didn't care, but he didn't know. It was his first trip abroad,
You know, right is right and wrong is wrong, and you know that intuitively and innately. He had a strong moral compass.
How old was he? His first trip abroad. How old was he on this trip?
He was 21.
He was
So at
born in
21.
42. This is 1962. He was 19.
No, he was 62. That's 20. I think he was 21. Maybe 63.
I mean, that's pretty incredible that he was so self-possessed at such a young age. And felt that move with that kind of agency, you know. And I'm curious about if he was here to be like, how, like, is that just how you came into the world, or was it something about the environment? Is it something about his Jamaicanness? Is it something about the family and the
He
community?
was strong-willed and he had a bad temper when he was younger.
Yeah.
Rough.
You look at the world around you, and I remember, like, in some of the autobiographies, he was always shocked that, like, you guys had that conversation about having in-home help, right?
Right.
And you talked about the language of, what do we call this person? And then he realized that she had 6 children too. And then he realized how tremendously unfair that was. That, because you have that attachment, right? It's almost like Mom 2.0. And then when he realized that, oh my God, like how that, he was very aware of when you see injustice and you just see the realities of the world and you kind of make up your mind for yourself, like, this is something I want to fight or at least recognize.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Zuri, going home to teach again. It's really in there. That's my favorite one.
I have to put that one. I have to put
Yeah.
that one there.
All right.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I wonder if there's anybody who's watching who has any questions. I'm not sure how many people are actually watching now because we're a couple places. But if there are, is there anybody who would like to ask a question? Put them in the comments and we'll get them
Filter
going.
them.
Yeah.
Well, as they're figuring it out.
Yeah. We keep going.
Along the lines of what we were just talking about, the things that you loved about him and his writing. But what would you say was one of his most enduring legacies, aside from just the writing and the work, but like just overall? You don't have to feel confined to what that might mean.
To be your authentic self, I think. Treat everybody with dignity and respect. Like, I'm still working through. It's funny. I still have, I tell my students sometimes, like, if the house were on fire and I would run in to grab one thing, I have his diaries. I'm gonna show them to the audience. Like, I have, like, he wrote every single day.
Okay.
Like, and when the National Library bought his things, I was like, we're not giving these up. But every single day, and so, like, going through there and reading them, and like, I'll almost go and like read the first one because I shared it with my brother-in-law the other day. It's because I was trying to encourage him to journal, and it was basically like, I find my life sometimes slipping by unrecorded and unremembered, and I will try to write this. And it's just so cool going back and reading. And then I started thinking, because I have all of his books on my shelf, and he wrote a journal reader once. So he anthologized. That's what Mom said. He liked Boswell. He liked Boswell because Boswell was a diarist. And so, like, there are some parts of it that it'll say, like, oh, I don't want to write this way because I feel like I'm writing for an audience and this is never intended for an audience. But like, there were some things that just happened serendipitously about, like, I didn't read it till after the fact, like when we cremated him and spread his ashes in Trelawney. And then when I went back years later and read it, like months later, and it was like, I want my ashes to be spread on a windy day in the Caribbean Sea. And it was exactly like it. Yeah. Like I had it earmarked.
Well, yeah, we talked about that when you
I'm gonna go
started.
get them. I'm gonna go get them.
No,
Okay, okay.
they're not up there anymore. I took them. He's running upstairs. He's going to come down and they're not there.
Where are they?
Where are
They're
they?
in my room.
It's your
Wow.
husband.
You hear the rumbling.
I
I don't
must
know what
be.
to say.
Oops. No, you just say he's my husband.
Right.
And Becky's a big
Yeah.
diarist too. His
Oh,
daughter has got journals.
Why'd you do that?
There, because I didn't want him up there because we
Because
have
it's our
company
husband.
coming. Just Adam, you can't laugh. I don't want to. You sit here and I'll find them for you. You can't leave the room.
yeah. There's a question for you anyway, Adam. As a former AP literature and language teacher, Adam, is Anthony's works on college boards works of literary merit? If not, any plans to introduce his works?
So they use this textbook for AP Lang. It's called Readers for Writers, and there's a compendium called five stars to a 5 or something like that. And but when I used to teach AP, I would ask him, like, does your work have literary merit? And he'd be like, of course it does. But I think the entire concept of literary merit is colonization of the mind. I think it's total. It's bullshit, right?
Yeah,
It's bullshit.
yeah.
And so, like, to that canon is breaking away. Those old time, this is literature with a capital L. This is literature with a lowercase L.
Mhm.
Because it used to be that sci-fi and Tolkien's work wasn't respected.
Right.
So I think that people can. There's so much crap out there, right? It's almost like a diet. I call it your literary diet. So, like, you don't need a nutritionist to tell you, like, what's junk food and what's real food, right?
Mhm.
So you can read some stuff and say, I'm eating, and then you like what you like too. But thank you for the question. So I think that his work would definitely, like the short story "The Thief." I used to teach that in my AP literature class, and that's in the Annihilation of Fish
And other short stories.
and other short stories. That story is incredible, and it's so rich, and his themes are so they're wonderful. I'm at a loss of words. So yeah, his works would be of literary merit. Now, you have these writers who it would just be a shame that, like, okay, one day, if his work is on everyone's, if it gets posthumously famous,
Mm-hmm.
then we're gonna say, oh, it's of literary merit. Like, it's like it's fantastic stuff. It's the universal themes, and I know that that's a shunned word, universal themes. Post-colonial scholars, they hate it. This one is from 1919, like just 1990.
Okay.
Just to show you, like,
Wow. Yeah.
and it's hard to read too, but like every day, and it starts with like, oh, this happened. We were making this petty argument over dinner or whatever, and look at this. Oh my God. This is his naturalization papers.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay,
Look at that's the man I met in Jamaica.
so
Wow.
Adam,
Yeah.
I'm going to switch gears for a second.
Okay.
I steward the legacy of Valerie J. Maynard. And so what that means is that I'm the executive director. And so we are involved with sort of inventory, cataloging, and archiving her life's work. She was a visual artist. Her artwork, her ephemera, which is documents, papers, journals. And so I demand you to, and we can have a conversation offline to figure out how to, one, have all of those journals digitized, right?
It isn't gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like he would be rolling over. Like, there's some things that he
But
says
the
about
thing
people
is,
that You know, it would be like Busher, like, I never said anything intended for your ears. So.
Digitization isn't necessarily for public consumption, right? So I'm not saying to give these archival works this rich recording of a brilliant mind and heart, right? And so you do want, say 200 years from now, there's generations of people that come from your family who are like, this man who wrote these books.
Yeah.
I want to weigh into his mind, and I want to learn the things that he has to teach. And so this, and particularly in this moment in time that we're in, where so many histories are being destroyed, that preservation is critical, right? So for me, even reading Henry Winkler's work and being a part of these conversations around the Duppy as a diasporan Jamaican, it allowed me a way into a moment in time that I never was exposed to, right? So that preservation is essential.
But these start late. Like this one starts in 1985, so it's a lot later. But like for every young scribbler out there, I would read this first one. Today I embark on keeping a diary and will faithfully try to keep up with the daily events of my life. I always used to think diary keeping wasn't effective, but as I age, I find my life slipping by unrecorded and oftentimes even unremembered. So I have changed my mind about diaries.
So we can have a conversation about some of those resources that are available for digitization.
Yeah.
There are there are archival boxes that you can store things in, and sleeves that help to that are asset free to help protect for longevity.
Yeah.
Because these ethereal things, they will disintegrate because that's what.
No, I agree. I would like to digitize them one day. But yeah.
We do have the Duppy on tape. Macmillan, when they published his book in England, Macmillan, England, they had him read the whole book on audio. And so I do have the Duppy on tape by Anthony Winkler.
I sent you the link to the first chapter.
Yeah,
we
made it on one of the
episodes.
But Antonio, thank you for that suggestion. You know, it's always crossed my mind, but yeah.
After Tony died, the library, National Library of Jamaica came, 2 women, and then weeks later, 2 more women with suitcases because it was too expensive to ship all the paperwork, FedEx or whatever. So it made more sense for them to fly over and, take it and go. And so they have it all cataloged and everything at in the Library of Jamaica.
But let me bookend this from where we started to talk about slackness, right? These private journals is salacious. Right? Like, a lot of people would be horribly offended, because there was just
or titillated.
I mean, like some of it I read and I'm like, ooh, that's what you thought about me, like. Yeah, but so he'll call a fool if you're acting.
The handwriting isn't easy to read either, so like that. That's why I never developed it. He would never. I mean, really, I never touched his stuff.
Oh yeah.
Until the very end, when there was a problem and he wouldn't tell me the truth, and I started.
Well done.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that's kind of tickled fancy that the journals look like that? I don't know why I was expecting you to come out with
hardcover
bounded, like black bounded, beautiful.
There's one of those too, and they're just all.
I have some.
They're like literally, these composition books that every average Jamaican student has. I'm just tickled fancy that that's what he wrote in.
Sure enough.
Oh yeah.
Me have as well.
These are in the 90s and the 2000s, and then
really
this is the 90s, and then the 80s look like this.
Love it.
They're all kind of
absolutely love it.
But that digitization process, it would be like a labor of love. Even just the thing of having a scanner app on your phone, and you say, okay, today I'm going to do 5 pages. And,
it's true. I have to do that.
Tony never had a cell phone. I mean, but it's been 15 years. It just was 10 years since he passed away. So, the phone wasn't out that long.
10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
September, right?
It corresponds with my wedding anniversary by about a month.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, and my wife just became a Jamaican citizen too. So
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
really?
Congrats.
yeah, took like 4 years, but
Did it? Your family?
It took
Oh my
4
God.
years.
Wow.
it takes a long time.
Wow.
So at least they can go through together now.
Yeah.
Now she has to take like 2 years to get the passport.
Oh,
First, you have to become a citizen. Then
Oh,
you
it,
got to
it
get the
takes that long to
passport.
get the passport?
Well,
That's wild.
hyperbole, right?
Okay. All
It's
right.
at least a year. It's at least a year.
Yeah. So yeah, it depends on where you're getting it from, I guess. Yeah.
And now with the the hurricane, and it's the
Right.
last thing that Jamaica's trying to do is process
Yeah.
passports. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So
Pray for
your
Jamaica.
processing center will be in Miami, right? Because I think that's Oliver
Mhm.
Mayer. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think we're at time. I mean, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Time flies. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed keeping up with it.
Yeah. It was
And I
really nice
love the
meeting
two
you
of
both.
you's relationship.
What were you saying, Antonio?
I love the two of you's relationship.
Oh,
Adam and
Yeah.
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 So I just moved back here after 11 years, and like my wife would stay here a lot because she's a flight attendant, and so we made the pact when I moved back because they live together like roommates sometimes. My
Oh,
wife
wow.
and my mom, and so we have dinner once a week.
Nice.
Oh.
So I live downtown, and mom's here in Dunwoody.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I'm in South Fulton.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm right in Summer Hill.
All right. So it's a big
You're in
Jamaican.
Baltimore now, though, right?
Listen, don't worry about where I am right now. South Fulton is where I'll be Thanksgiving. I'll put all my information out here in the interwebs.
They'll come find you. Your stalkers will come find you.
They will. They will.
What book are you guys reading next? I've enjoyed this one. I'm gonna stick with. I
What
joined
are
the
we
regular
doing?
book club.
Is it Nala Hopkins or
Yeah,
Hopkins?
it was. We had I don't know if we completely decided yet.
Decided
But
yet?
we
Yeah.
had
So we have a
the,
long
like,
list that
top
we
two or
kind of
top
go
three.
through and
Yeah,
put some stuff out.
it
So
might be the Nala Hopkins. I think was there.
okay.
I just finished the Colton Whitehead book today, The Underground Railroad. Wow.
Yeah, it's a good book. That's a good. I prefer the book to the TV thing. I was like,
I haven't seen it, but I did watch the Nickel Boys movie. Oh my goodness, that was.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that yet.
I didn't want.
Well,
I feel like I would be depressed, so I was just like, I just want to keep the spirits up.
yeah.
a little bit.
Right. Well, thank you guys for having us. We
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
sure.
Happy to help.
Yeah.
Rose,
Yes, this was a pleasure.
give our love to your sister as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I will. What's up, Becky?
All right. We'll do.
I
we'll
want to
go-
do. I want to do a quick mad plug just to everybody out there who may see this. Support, donate, release
Yes.
anything
Yes.
that's
It's again.
coming.
We have.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. We see the one here through Linktree for Reggae Online. Yeah, I came back from Hanover last night, which I guess a lot of people have been talking about that site so much. Yeah, yeah. It's brown. It's brown.
Wow.
The director of our forestry department, the executive director, was explaining this week why so much of the foliage looks like it's been burnt, because it does look burnt, and people are like, it's just it's wind and rain.
Yeah,
It
wind
looks
whipped.
burnt, but it's the wind damage.
Wow.
It was wind damage has made. If anybody knows, especially in recent times, Jamaica, if you're coming from the north-south highway, there's a time after you are descending into Ocherius and you're seeing the view, and people talk about it because it's gorgeous. You see the sea, and you just see brown.
Wow.
That's just all the foliage. It's just brown.
Mm.
So yeah, please.
I didn't realize that Ochi was hit.
Well, yeah, it came through the south and kind of left through the north. So all of the north coast area got some of the back end. It was how Melissa left the island, the path she took.
Right.
So yeah, I mean St. Anne, Runaway Bay, Discovery Bay, all the way going down Hanover, all the way going down to Westmoreland.
St. Mary,
Yeah, some aspects of it. It's just everybody got there far. So even Montego Bay, for all the people who know, that's where the tourist hub is. It's pretty dark down there still. A few hotels, the bigger hotels, are up and running, or trying to get back at least this month.
Mhm.
But it's a humbling experience, I'll tell you that much.
And
Yeah.
how's the university? Aren't you at the university?
I am at the university,
Is
and
it up and running again?
they are well, not the campus down that side. Not there was
Not
a
Montego, but
smaller
Kingston, yes.
campus, Western Jamaican campus. That's completely not operational until further notice.
Mm.
The one in Kingston is they're they're up and running. Lots of mixed feelings around that with general student and staff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because you were told to leave as they should have, to go home
Mhm.
and not be on campus just in case anything happened. And as a result, quite a few people are home in desperate situations, cannot get
And
back,
cannot get back, yeah.
cannot get back. And then there's a lot of things of feelings of how the university is just getting along with university business.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
Tone deaf is what you're trying to say. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say I'm employed.
Yeah, I can say it because I'm not.
Please
I'm not
do.
there. Tone deaf.
That was uncancelable.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But I'm sure by my face you can see what I'm trying not to say.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
Yeah.
But your subtitles are on. So.
yes,
Okay.
Right. Right. Clear.
clear.
That's okay. All right. So, as I end the stream, please don't go anywhere yet. I mean, the stream will end, then we can just say proper goodbyes after. All right. Thank you, everybody.